wherever it was for some reason.
Race fans, it is Friday night and it is time for Smash. Welcome everyone, I'm Joshua Coppernell, joined by Sean Signori and Cam Gillens here in the Slingshot TV booth, and tonight we're bringing you race number 2 of the Smash HQ Truck Series live from Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Since opening in 1996, Las Vegas Motor Speedway has become one of the crown jewels of American motorsports, but its roots stretch back even further before this high-speed playground took shape. The land was home to a much smaller racing facility, Las Vegas Speedrome, which featured a road course and a drag strip. That all changed when the current oval was built, making an immediate impact with its NASCAR debut in 1998. Over the years, this track has seen it all. Jeff Burton's dominant win in the first Cup race year, Jimmy Johnson's record-setting 4 victories, and even Kurt Busch's emotional hometown triumph in 2020. And it's not just stock cars that have left their mark on this track. IndyCar and sports cars legends have battled it out here, with the Speedway once hosting a record-breaking land speed event where a jet-powered truck hit an eye-watering 376 miles per hour. It's also hosted everything from NHRA drag racing to the electric Daisy Carnival, proving that in Las Vegas, the show never stops. Sean, there's a lot of gambling that goes on in Las Vegas, but is it going to be worth it for these drivers to take a chance at gambling their way to a win tonight?
It depends on how last week went. If you had a good race last week, you're up there in those point standings, I'd say you can gamble all you can. But if you're one of those drivers that's looking to gain after a poor showing last week at Daytona, then maybe the gambling's not for you. But as we know, here at Vegas, the gambling finds the people. You don't choose.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy race tonight, and I'm very curious to know, are we going to see the gamble? But I don't know. I mean, we look at our race analysis, and 100 laps, fuel, it's 100%. Unlimited tires, though, with one fast repair. And, is it worth trying to gamble if you have those unlimited tires?
Well, if you have unlimited tires, I imagine guys are going to be pitting every single caution flag that comes out. But the big gambling is going to happen with that fast repair. Are you willing to make a couple moves that you might not make knowing you got that fast repair in the bank? I think we're going to be seeing a lot of really hectic racing, chaotic racing at the start of this race while guys have that fast repair in the bank. When that's gone, then it might calm down just a little bit until we get to the end.
Right now, there's just a little bit over a minute left in practice. Let's go ahead and look at the point standings. Of course, this is race 2, and it is Randy Bechdel with the points lead, 5 points over Scott Tompkins. And, we talked about starting the season on the right foot. Those drivers definitely have. Third place, Jacob Phillips, he's 8 behind. Justin Wilson, 9 points behind. Johnny Rapp, 12 points behind. Sean?
Oh, we saw a great late race last week with Randy Bechdel stealing that win on the final lap. Jacob Phillips and Johnny Rapp just about had that race wrapped up, no pun intended, from the start. They were leading from green flag to the very last one, but lost to air at the very end. But that's going to bode some good momentum for that whole top 5 as we head to a racetrack which can be a little unpredictable at times with Las Vegas. But I look for number 11 on that screen, Braxton DeWeese. He's only 23 points back from the front right now. A lot better than where he was in some of the other series I've seen him, and he's gotten those points and won those championships no matter how far back he started the year. So he's somebody I look for tonight to really make a gain on Randy Bechdel and Scotty Tompkins up front.
Yeah, and remember, Braxton DeWeese had a terrible start to Daytona, starting on the pole and falling back, but worked his way back up to the front. Now, we have our stories to follow tonight, and it's still new season, new faces, week 2. Drivers still trying to figure each other out. It's still a very young season. You might not be familiar with some of these drivers that you're on track with. And multi-groove management, Sean. These drivers, they're going to be all over the place. You can run the wall, you can run the down near the apron, maybe even in the middle. I think finding clean air, which actually, it's something that's going to be very important.
Yeah, not only with the first one there, new faces, new season. We've got a lot of new faces just tonight on week 2. A lot of guys that weren't in the race last week, and that is going to lead to your multi-groove management. Which drivers are you willing to follow? Which drivers are you going to try to get around? The bottom's going to be a little strong tonight with it being at night with these trucks. The bottom tends to be the best line, but as these tires wear out, we're going to see guys going and using that middle and top line like you were talking about, Josh, and keeping that nose clean, staying out of troubles. Vegas is going to be, it's almost going to look like a packed race out there tonight. We're going to have cars 2-3 wide throughout the whole pack. They're going to be very close, just like it would be at Daytona and Talladega yet again, but here at a smaller track like Las Vegas.
Yeah, and with keep the nose clean, we did talk about it. There is a fast repair, but do you want to use it? I mean, I don't want to use it, that's for sure. I'd rather not have it personally, but there is that in the bank for these drivers if they need it. Tire strategy, though, unlimited rubber tonight. We talked about that, unlimited tires. I'm very curious how these drivers are going to use that. Do you pit every caution? Do you maybe stay out for track position early in a race? I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but I'm curious to see how these drivers are going to use that the tire strategy of the unlimited rubber, and avoiding the typical Vegas crashes. They could be big here, just as crazy as like last week at Daytona. Though we didn't really have anything big last week at Daytona, but it could happen on restarts. You got to watch out for turn 4 on that first lap, somebody slipping. So you definitely want to avoid the typical Vegas crashes here tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. Like we said, it's going to be packed up. The whole field right now in qualifying, the top 10 are all within a tenth and a half of each other on the timesheet. So they're going to be close to each other. They're going to be making moves back and forth for position. It's going to be one hell of a show from start to finish. And just want to wrap up those stories there with the tire strategy. I think having unlimited tires almost makes the decision easier. You have them in the bank, and you can go in there and grab them at any single moment. So you just kind of want to keep topping it off every single yellow flag. When you have a limited set of 4 or 5 sets, that kind of makes that decision maybe a little harder. So I think it's gonna maybe neuter some of the pit strategy that we might have typically, but it could also play in the hands of somebody who might want to take that big gamble later in the race.
It really is going to be very interesting to see how these drivers do that. And you're right. I personally think, pitting every single time could be the right move. Even if you go just 5 laps before, on a set of tires, come on down, get 4 fresh tires, then maybe late in a race, if some kind of caution comes out, try your hand at something tonight.
It's definitely going to be a little bit of a race of survival. At least the last couple truck races here at Vegas have gone that way from my perspective up here in the booth. It's really fell in the hands of some drivers that really weren't up front running up in those top 5 positions the whole night. But we're going to have a little bit of a fight up front between some of these guys up front, like Braxton DeWeese, Randy Bechdel, Ian Blanchard. All of these guys are going to be all over each other from the start to the end. And I think getting through the 100 laps is going to be the big challenge tonight.
Indeed it will be. These drivers, this is the first race that's on a track, not Daytona, and so I really think that a lot of the stories that we're following, there's something really to keep an eye on, because these drivers, not all of them do know each other. So getting through tonight, I think, is going to be the biggest challenge for these guys. And it's going to be very interesting to see tonight, as qualifying is almost wrapped up.
And qualifying wrapping up, give a quick shout out to some of the guys in the chat. Vans 21K, this should be fun. Big Hoss Man 98, let's go Van Man, bring home the hardware, baby. We got a whole bunch of guys coming in here. So thanks for everybody for checking out. Leave a comment tonight, puts you in the running to win this Jimmy Johnson diecast, the Jimmy Johnson Carvana number 84 164 scale. So you guys leave comments in the chat room, and that will help you and put you in the running to do that. We're going to get down to the track for our starting grid, I think, Josh.
Indeed, we are. And starting on the pole, it is going to be Justin Michael with Braxton DeWeese starting in second place. Randy Bechdel in third. Ian Blanchard will start fourth. Fifth place, it's going to be Justin Wilson and Jeffrey Stanton starting sixth. Johnny Rapp will start seventh. Trevor Brownlee starting in eighth. Ninth place, Chris Trammell and Mike Springer will start 10th. Sean.
Joseph Villarreal going to be starting in the 11th spot. Jay Salza going to be starting in 12th. Lee Richardson starting in 13th. And Jesse Sampson starting 14th. Jacob Phillips is going to be starting 15th after his great run last week. Jeffrey Parker beside him in the 16th spot. Austin Gumm's going to be starting in 17th. And Scott Drost going to be starting beside him in 18th. 19th is going to be Shane Markham in that 47 ride, and next to him, Daryl Griffith in that 22.
Adil Dar is going to start 21st. Joshua Van Every will start 22nd. 23rd, it's going to be Steve Vest with Johnny Brown starting 24th. Matthew Tudus starts 25th. Donald Hawkins 26th. Curtis Grant 27th. Adrian Leon 28th. And Jeremy Keltner going to start 29th and shotgun on the field tonight.
Yeah, a whole field that qualified up to about 26th spot, all within half a second of each other in qualifying. So the field's super tight, and all these guys that are up front really don't have that big of much of a speed advantage over some of these guys in the back. So it's truly anybody's race, just like it was at Talladega last week. I'm sorry, Daytona.
Yeah, it truly is anybody's race, and I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to be able to get up front and punch their name, or punch their ticket to a win here tonight and add their name to the winners list. His field is coming down the back stretch. We're getting ready for those 100 laps.
Yeah, Justin Michael, your pole sitter, was not in the race last week at Daytona, so it's going to be an opportunity night for him possibly to gain some points and put himself in position to kind of nullify what points he lost last week. But Braxton DeWeese and Randy Bechdel, Randy especially starting in third, was your winner last week. Let's see how they manage these first couple laps. Maybe racing somebody they haven't done a lot of racing with in the past as they come down. Pace car coming off, Josh.
Justin Michael, Braxton DeWeese, the front row as they are getting ready to come to the start zone. The green flag's waving. We're underway here at Las Vegas, and a great jump by Justin Michael over the rest of the field.
Yeah, that was the jump he needed to get away from Braxton DeWeese and Randy Bechdel, who are side by side for second place going down into turn one. The bottom line seems to be strong, though, right now as Randy Bechdel gets a big run off the corner, getting a help from behind by Justin Wilson in that 58 truck. Following him is Johnny Rapp. Johnny Rapp, one of those two trucks that dominated last week in Daytona, putting himself up into the top five now as he tries to make a move around Ian Blanchard in that 39 truck, stuck on the top.
These drivers almost racing like we're still at Daytona, all packed up together 2 by 2, several rows deep, as Justin Michael is just trying to control this race still. They're catching back up to him, and I think with these trucks, we are still going to see pack racing for quite a while before the tires get worn.
Yeah, most definitely these tires will start going away after 15-20 laps, but until then, it's going to be anybody's race. They're going to be all over each other. It's Randy Bechdel starting to catch that 87 truck up front. Got himself a good little gap there the first couple laps, but as that draft starts to play a factor, as these trucks get more and more up to speed, they're going to start closing in. And once Randy gets there, he might make a move to get around that 87, but here comes Braxton DeWeese, as you see it out of the 58's windshield. Braxton DeWeese getting to the inside of Randy Bechdel in 3 and 4. He's going to make the job done look easy. He gets it done coming across the line, and now Randy's going to have to deal with that 58 going down to turn one.
A much better start to this race for DeWeese. Staying up in second place, or rather getting back up to second place for DeWeese. And these guys, They're still trying to figure it out. I noticed Johnny Rapp almost going 3 wide on the bottom just a couple of laps ago. Now he's stuck on the outside of Blanchard. It's pretty much take any run you possibly can get right now early in this race.
Side by side behind him as well, but that 52 has been side by side with the 39 since the green flag dropped. And now, 5 laps into this whole deal, they've been side by side the whole time. That 52 maybe got a little piece of that wall there, but still got the big run off the top side. You're going to see that here at Vegas. The top is very powerful off the corners and down the straightaway. Here comes Johnny Rapp to the outside of Randy Bechdel. He's going to do it again, get that big run off the corner down the straight. Try to get that 4th position going down into turn 1. He's looking pretty strong right now, maybe at a detriment to his rubber, but Jack 52 is looking pretty mighty.
Yeah, he is, and I think it is going to hurt those tires later as we continue to go. Johnny Rapp, he's taking 4th place, and he actually wants more. He wants 3rd as he's on the outside of Wilson. Be real tight on the exit of the corner. There, a little bit of contact.
A little bit of wall contact,
jack.
yeah. 52 got a little tight coming off the corner, tapped that wall, bounced off of it into the 58. Don't see any damage on either one of the trucks. That definitely might be a little bit of a catalyst for annoyance out of that 58 truck. He's going to be thinking that he has some damage and maybe driving so. Some contact also. A couple trucks behind off the corner. They all keep it together, but you can see it right here, Josh. Everybody's still all packed up and all nice and tight. So if something was to happen up front, we might have ourselves quite the incident.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. This race can almost seem like a plate style race early on, and we're seeing that here tonight. These drivers, some of them are really hoping the tires wear quickly so it starts to string out, and others who are looking for positions, they're wanting it to stay like this. But unless we see yellow, it's going to get strung out. We're going to see back to what we think of with mile-and-a-half races. Right now, though, everybody just trying to get what they can, and Johnny Rapp, he's finally got himself to the bottom.
And Johnny Rapp has finally cleared that 58, but the side-by-side battle right here on your screen. Randy Bechdel and Chris Trammell, they've been side-by-side for about 3 or 4 laps now. Randy kind of trying to stop the bleed, and he's been losing positions since the start of this race, maybe just saving that right front a little more than everybody else. And he's just trying to find a place in line and ride and not have to continue on this little bit of a free fall. As here comes that 58 back now to the inside and Rapp again into the wall. Not something you want to do within the first 10 laps of the race. It's hit it twice, never mind once, but he's gotten it a couple of times. That's going to weaken that right side of that truck. And if he has to hit it a couple more times, it might be really detrimental to him. But right now, not looking too detrimental as he rolls around the outside. He's going to get the run on Braxton DeWeese off of 4. Not going to be able to get to that quarter panel, but he's really all over the back bumper of that 15 truck.
Yeah, and he's on a roll right now. Actually, Wilson going to get back to the left rear of Rapp. But you're right, he won't be able to take too many wall taps like that. He can get away with it early, but could really hurt him later. So far, though,
I think what's going to hurt him later is driving it as hard as he is on the outside. That's definitely going to wear up that right rear more than the other trucks around him. And I can only imagine in about 10 or 15 laps he's going to be paying the price for racing as hard as he is here at the moment. But I've been wrong before. It just looks like that he's been maintaining and committed to that top line and really using it for everything it's got right now at the moment.
Rapp and Wilson were really tight off corner exit of 2. Almost might have been a little bit of a hip check. Nothing major, but those 2 trucks, they've made contact once already.
There's another time right there going into 1.
I don't think they're going to like that too much as this continues to go on, if it continues to happen.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these drivers come across as super aggressive the amount of times I've seen them race, and they're both very, very calm, cool, collective guys. So this is a little surprising to see out of them so early on in this event. And here we go, back side by side yet again. This is Jeffrey Parker and Mike Springer in that 27. In front of them, it's Randy Bechdel. Side by side again. He's going to be in a tight spot right there. Jacob Phillips making his way through the field in that 56, going to get tight, move up the track. You see it right there on the screen. As man, these guys right here in the back half of the top 10 racing really hard.
Yeah, they are, and you know, you don't want to bring out a caution. You don't want to be the caution, and you don't want to be involved in a caution either. Again, keep the truck clean, keep the nose clean. These guys, they are just racing so hard. A little bit too much out of my comfort zone if I was on the track.
They are racing pretty tough as you see the 3 wide move here from Randy Bechdel. I think like he might have flipped that switch and is starting to gain a little more time out of saving those tires early, and now he has made the move back around the 75 and is hunting down the 39 right there in front of him. And right about now, that 15 lap mark, about that time in the run where those guys that were pushing really hard beginning of this race, they're going to start falling back, and some of those guys like Randy Bechdel saving that right front, they're going to start moving their way back up through this pack. As you see it right there coming off of turn 2, trying to make that move to the inside of the 39. You just see the advantage he has coming off the corner is back in the pack. Jacob Phillips in that 56. One of the dominant trucks last week with Johnny Rapp making a move around the outside. Some of these trucks getting really tight in the middle of this dirty air pack. It's one truck getting loose right there on the apron. I believe that's the 36, Joseph Villarreal. Really struggling here at the moment, losing some spots. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet, head towards the back, and regroup. Because right now that truck's looking a little evil at the moment. He's walked up the track a couple times. He's hit the apron, gotten loose, and definitely struggling in that 36 truck here at the moment. Back up front, you see it. Justin Michael has been able to extend that gap over Braxton DeWeese. Johnny Rapp still got a mirror full of that 58, the never-ending battle for third, Josh.
Yeah, and I think this is where clean air is really starting to be an advantage. Is that Rapp that just got the wall big time there off turn 2?
Yep, that's another time. That's third time we've seen it. Maybe even the 4th. So no damage still on the side of that 52 truck, at least from our angles. But mentally, it plays a toll. Mentally, it starts to mess with you a little bit. You keep tapping that wall off the corners. So the damage might be more distractions and sweating, maybe getting those fever sweats rather than actual damage on the truck.
I think it's just get into a rhythm and regroup if you're Johnny Rapp. You've got the track position, you don't want to lose it, but these guys in the back, they are racing so aggressive. I've been watching Randy Bechdel and almost been 3 wide around him, but Phillips just behind.
That's who I'm watching.
Yeah.
he's really made moves. Yeah, he's passed about 10 trucks in the last 10 laps, maybe even more. And now he has caught himself into this top 10, running in the 9th spot. Going to go to the top here on Randy Bechdel. Who knows how his strategy was at the beginning of this race, but he has definitely been one of our biggest movers up through the pack. And has put himself in position to really capitalize. If he can get clear of some of these guys and start reeling in those leaders, because he is showing a lot of speed. And he's also teammates with that 58 truck up front. So, big movement right there out of the 61. That's going to be Stanton in that 61. Jeffrey Stanton really getting loose off of turn 2. And Phillips is going to tag the wall because of it. Going to have to get back in the gas. And these guys are still 3 wide. 61 got loose. 56 got up in the wall. Some contact right there. Going to get the 61 really loose down the straightaway. Really struggling right there. Getting through that whole ordeal. But man, these guys, at least they were able to survive for the moment. Jeez, Josh, that was close.
I don't know how we're still green right now, Sean. That was crazy. These drivers are just driving so aggressively, and it almost seems like they're just, again, like I said early, going for every run you can get. And I think we're at a point where it might be a little bit too late for them. These drivers are still doing it. Their tires are still working. They're proving me wrong. But that was a little bit too close to having a lot of torn up race trucks. These drivers, they're now settling back into rhythm, and we're still green.
One thing I see is there's some damage on the left front corner of that 56. He got it by running in the back of that 61 truck. So that might have been some frustration being shown coming down the front stretch there to get him really loose. And that's kind of stopped that momentum that the 56 was having. He's now fallen back out of the top 10. And that's really stinging him now at the moment. You can see that truck is starting to struggle just with that aerodynamic damage on the nose. See him getting tight right there all the way up off the corner. Just barely missing that wall, but that is killing the tires on that truck right now.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And right now, he's just wanting to get that car, or truck rather, serviced, get any damage fixed that he possibly can get, and get work tires on it as soon as possible.
Well, a quarter of the way through this race, Justin Michael leading by 0.7 of a second over Braxton DeWeese. Johnny Rapp is able to maintain that third position. Tires are holding up on that 52 truck, holding up pretty good. He still, though, has a mirror of Justin Wilson in that 58. These guys about 1.5 seconds behind Justin Michael, and then it's a big gap back to Ian Blanchard, Randy Bechdel, and that whole crowd. They are still racing pretty hard and racing all over this racetrack compared to these leaders out front who have kind of checked out.
Yeah, and you know, for Johnny Rapp, I wonder if it's a lot to do with having cleaner air. He's third place. He doesn't exactly have clean air, but it is a lot cleaner than the drivers in the back, what they're dealing with right now. And if that's really helping him stay up front, despite the way that, you know, he's just ripping the high side the entire time. Everybody else in the back, you know, they're racing hard. They're maybe side draft is slowing each other down. Just being side by side as well can really hurt the speed. And I think that's big time why we see this big of a gap that we do.
Well, the temperatures being so low, 77-degree Fahrenheit track temp, these trucks are going to get tight as the tires wear out. The track's not hot enough to really start getting these guys loose. That's what we're seeing pretty consistently through the field. These guys are starting to get tight around each other, and that's kind of causing them to spread out, unlike what we saw in these first 10 laps. But then you can kind of see the advantage that some of these guys up front have, maybe with the setup or how they were able to run their tires in the first half of the race. You see Scott Drost and Justin Phillips still struggling. Justin's been able to hold off some of these guys since we last mentioned his damage, but he has been dealing with a very ill-handling truck. He's been making it worse, and here comes that 61 starting to creep up to the top side here, getting a run down the stretch. You know, these two are not happy with each other. At least one's not happy with the other. Just see Phillips throwing a little bit of a block on him there, going down into one. That 56 is definitely making that damage work, and the truck's just not handling too well, but he's definitely been impressive so far. Has stopped the bleeding, as in front of them, Jeffrey Parker, Chris Trammell in that 9. These trucks have all been in the back half of the top 10 since the start. Really close racing there between Parker. I'm sorry, yeah, it is Parker getting that run off the corner on the 9 truck, and here to the outside goes Shane Markham in that 47. He's up a good bit in positions from the start.
Yeah, he is currently sitting in 12th place, and I don't know. Still in the hornet's nest, but doing pretty good running where he's at.
Yeah, you see it just about every lap. Somebody follows somebody into the corner on the bottom, and that dirty air just makes them walk right up the racetrack. It's been happening for about the last 15 laps since these tires started to matter a little more, and they're still racing hard back there no matter what. Let's go back up front. Johnny Rapp still got that mirror full of Justin Wilson. These guys are starting to lose some time to Justin Michael up front. Michael been able to run away from Braxton DeWeese. Now his lead is up to about 2 seconds. It was 0.5 second last time we checked in on these leaders up front. You see it right there on the screen. Just how big of a gap he does have over Braxton DeWeese in second. About 3 seconds back to Johnny Rapp, but at 87 flexing some muscle right now.
Yeah, he is. He's doing a great job, is Justin Michael. And, you know, I again, the clean air, the track position, and just being able to run his line to keep those tires under him is what's really helping Justin Michael keep the lead like he is. How about Randy Bechdel, currently 6th place, as he is closing in on Blanchard, looking to get into the top 5.
And he's been trying to pass Chris Blanchard for a long time right now. Feels like about 10 laps. We got contact down the back straightaway there, almost a big wreck towards the back of the pack with a 56 in Jeffrey Parker. And there's your yellow flag coming out. That's actually going to be down further back in turn 3. I got the 88 Johnny Bobby Brown and the 10 truck Jesse Sampson wadded up here. 88 smoking real bad. Gonna have to check it out here on the replay. It looks like that 88 might have just tapped the wall. Got a little swirly off the corner. Something weird happened there. It's like he bounced off of it going down the straightaway. Some type of issue on that 88 set him sideways and really just down into that 10 truck. Nowhere for him to go. Big contact with that inside wall. It's going to be pretty heavy damage to both of them tonight.
Yeah, that was really weird how his truck just kind of turned left like that.
It's almost like he was trying to make a pass or something and just turned it so hard, kind of lost control of it. So we got our leaders coming down to make their first pit stops of the night. Definitely going to need to take some tires here.
Oh yeah, there's no gambling going to happen here, Sean. It is most definitely 4 tires and fuel for these drivers. We've gone like 33 laps under green. These tires, they're screaming right now.
Definitely going to need them like gold. It's going to be a busy pit road. 27 trucks still on the lead lap. I'm sorry, yeah, 27 still on the lead lap, so it's going to be 27 trucks on pit road all at once, getting their service done. Pretty clean stops into the boxes for these guys up front. Didn't see many mistakes, so we might have a couple trucks, though, taking some gambles. I got that 22 coming off of pit road in 2nd position. Maybe taking 2 tires right there on that deal, and I'm not sure if that's going to work out for him.
Yeah, I can't imagine it working out for him at all. At least on my telemetry I have, I don't even see a time in his box. I wonder if he might have missed his box.
Time will tell if he comes back down pit road. He was pretty far back in the pack, so even with the 2-tire stop, I don't see him gaining all those spots, but I think he might be coming back down, which is definitely what Braxton DeWeese and Johnny Rapp would want to see. Yeah, but here he comes, so we overblew that for nothing. But coming down pit road is that 22, going to try to make his pit stop all by himself in a lonely position right there as Justin Michael wins the race off pit road. They basically came out how they came back in.
Yeah, and these drivers, they're just starting to get into a rhythm of, green flag, racing, getting the tires worn out. Now everybody is right back to being on the same set of tires, all fresh, and it's going to bring back what we were just watching at the start with the pack racing and everybody trying to get every single position they possibly can, because something tells me we very well could go green to the end here.
Yeah, it was a pretty good indicator there going green from the start to about lap 33, like you said. But at this moment, if I was Braxton DeWeese, I'd be wanting to get around that 87 while he can. And 87 really was starting to show a lot of muscle there towards the back half of that fuel run. So the engagement level might go up here from that 15 and 52, 58 trucks. Just seeing how fast he was and trying to get ahead and maybe put him behind the 8 ball just a little bit, put themselves in better spots.
Field is coming off turn number 4. That pace car going to work its way to the safety of pit road. Justin Michael and Braxton Weiss, they are inside the restart zone. The green flag's waving. We're back underway at Las Vegas.
Another nailed restart there out of that 87. Did the same thing at the initial start of the race. He's pretty good at these restart zones. He's is going to be gapping Braxton Deweese and Johnny Rapp as they battle for second spot. Whoever wins out on this second place battle, though, is going to be the first one to catch back up to that 87. So they're going to be racing hard, because with that draft, going to be pulling them back into Justin's back bumper. They want to be that first truck there as Johnny gets really loose there on the bottom. So does Braxton just a little bit. That's going to cost the 52, maybe 3 to 4 spots coming down the straightaway there. There's a 51 lifted for him as well. Not what Randy Bechdel needed or Johnny Rapp. It's going to put him from about 3rd place on the restart back to his 7th position, 6th at the moment.
Cold tires are cold, Sean. I talked about that a little bit in the pre-race. You got to watch turn 4 on those first laps with fresh tires, and we saw that. Johnny Rapp, great job holding on to his truck, because usually that would lead into a big crash.
Most definitely. He's quite the wheelman in that 52. He has proven to me time and time again as the battle up front starting to heat up just a little bit as Braxton Deweese has caught the back bumper of that 87. Here he goes to the bottom. Just like I said, Josh, I don't plan on Braxton messing around just a little bit here. He wants to get ahead of that 87, just knowing he might be at a disadvantage to him on the longer run. Get in front of Justin, put him in that dirty air for a little bit. And Braxton's not going to waste any time here as he goes to the top line, maybe trying to get a run down the straightaway. As we ride on board the 87, looking back at that 15. Man, Justin is just looking strong right now at the moment, not allowing Braxton to even get a shot and even get a run on him down the straightaway.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really hard for Braxton Deweese to try to get the lead here. He's now just kind of following in the tire tracks of Justin Michael. Even down there, well, he has the peak to the inside. They're side by side. He does. Michael is pinching him down, though.
Close racing. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway. Deweese going to be in a better position into the corner, but Justin's going to get that big run off, pinching him through the center. These guys are going to be a side-by-side dead heat at the finish line. It's going to be that 87 just getting a little bit of a run off the corner, and now he's getting some help from behind in that 58 of Justin Wilson. It's not what Braxton needed. And here comes Johnny Rapp back into the picture. It didn't take him long to get back up here. Now he's messing with that 58 yet again. But Michael up front, Justin Michael able to hold off the charge. Oh, contact right there. Saw it coming big wreck into the outside wall, goes the 58. Man, that contact's kind of been brewing since the start of the race. Wouldn't you say, Josh, with him and Johnny getting into each other corner after corner? Saw Johnny trying to make a move on him a couple of corners ago. And then here, just kind of sticks it in on the inside, and the 58 comes down just a little too late. And by then, the 52 was there. It definitely looked a little aggressive from Johnny's point of view. We're going to have to get another angle of that maybe following into the corner. But man, that is quite surprising to see.
Yeah,
he's pretty far back. Yeah, pretty far back coming to the turn. I don't think Justin was planning on him being there. And then just really drives it in there deep, gets on the apron, and gets into that left rear, and just cleans the 58 out. So tough race ender right there.
I don't know if we can look at a little bit before that, but I saw Johnny Rapp hit the wall hard, or at least it seemed like he did. I think maybe the corner before that. And I don't know if that was just in reaction to, hey, I didn't like that, and I'm now going to send it into the corner. But Johnny Rapp, he definitely had his left side tires going onto the apron, entering that corner there. Just watch right here. Driving him up the track.
It was just tough racing between the two of them from basically the green flag from the start. We had noted they had made contact a couple times right before it got kind of strung out there in that first run. You see the 58 with some big wiggle there. Johnny in the wall trying to get around him. 58 seemed to be chasing it there, though. I don't think he did that on purpose. And then coming into the next corner, Johnny just driving in there deep. And just gets into the back of him. An overcorrection on the 58's part, but that you can't blame him for that. That was quite the incident. While we got a quick yellow here, how about some trivia? Wouldn't you say that? What do you think about that, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do trivia. What do you got?
All right, which driver won the 2008 Cup race here at Las Vegas? Was it Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, or Matt Kenseth? So you guys in the chat box, you put your answers in there, and a good answer always helps you for that giveaway we do towards the end of the night. A little bit of a pit strategy call up here, Josh. It seems like Braxton DeWeese stayed out on the caution, and so did a whole bunch of other trucks, as Justin Michael is going to be restarting all the way back in that 10th position. So we got about 9 trucks that stayed out on older tires. Wasn't not too many laps on those tires, but enough to make a difference, I'd say. But this could be Braxton DeWeese's Vegas gamble, possibly, to get some track position and possibly stay in front of that 87 truck.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I think about it. I do think that Braxton DeWeese has a lot of trucks behind him that will help. Unlimited tires, though, I'm not really sure. It would be hard for me to stay out in this case, but it could work. I think, a lot of those drivers on the fresh tires are going to have to work their way through those drivers that stayed out. You mentioned not a lot of laps on those tires either, so that could help here. I think just even 3 or 4 laps at a place that races this way might hurt you in a long run as this race goes on. But these guys, they're coming off turn number 4. We're about to restart. As it is Braxton Weiss and Johnny Bobby Brown on the front row entering the restart zone. Green flags back out. We're back underway in Vegas.
And it wasn't long ago that we saw both that 88 and 56 with some damage on their trucks, as they are 4 wide towards the back of the pack coming into the corner. Some good restarts and some not so good restarts back throughout the pack. Some of these guys maybe haven't been up front much tonight, not getting the best restarts, as they are still 4 wide coming off of turn 2 there. All able to sort it out here at the moment. Man, it is crazy through the pack as Villarreal gets on the apron right there. Almost a big contact there with Chris Trammell. Not what Chris needed. It's going to cost him a couple spots down the straightaway. And up front, Braxton DeWeese has checked out by about 7/8 tenths of a second over Jacob Phillips behind him.
Somebody hard on the wall. I can't tell who it is. They are still just riding on that wall. That's going to be the 8 of Jeremy Keltner.
Yeah, Jeremy Keltner was up front in this pack. Had stayed out on that restart, so some old tires on that 8 truck just didn't work out for him. As Jacob Phillips gets in the wall up front towards the front of this pack, he's going to be able to hold on to it. And the rough night continues for Jacob Phillips. He gets some track position and gives it all away right there in one fell swoop, tapping that wall. That 88 right now has to deal with Johnny Rapp on those new tires. Johnny Rapp seems to be the one to get through the pack the quickest, as now he's on the back bumper of that 88 for second. Going into turn 3, and here comes that 87 behind.
I did not see Johnny Rapp being the first one to get through on those 4 fresh tires, but he's done an incredible job getting up to third. Now kind of stuck there behind Johnny Bobby Brown, but going to take a peek to the outside here through 1 and 2. He's going to roll around there. Still not right there to be on the right rear of Johnny Bobby Brown.
Well, he's got the run here down the straightaway, and going into 3, he's going to get the job done, I imagine. That 52 truck awfully strong here on the top side. He just was able to go to the top in turn 2, get that run, take it all the way down the straightaway to the top around that 88 truck. That's going to put the 88 on the back foot, as he's going to try to move up top to block that Justin Michael in the 87. And he's getting hit from all sides here as the 39 of Ian Blanchard going to the bottom. And he gets a little bit of a tap there from the 87. Moved up in front of him there coming off the corner. And here comes Johnny Rapp for the lead on Braxton DeWeese. Haven't seen that 52 truck out front yet tonight. Trying to get the job done on that 15, but I don't think Braxton's going to be as easy to pass as that 88 was.
No, he's definitely not, but I still think those fresh start, well, caution.
car in the wall right there. Didn't get a number from him.
Mike Springer, 27.
Mike Springer got some heavy damage on that truck right there. Checking out the replay here, just a little bit of a squeeze coming off of turn 4. 3 trucks going into a room for 2. 14 on the bottom, 61 on the top. And the 27 is going to pay the price with some heavy front end damage. Got to get another replay here. Going to see these 3 trucks 3 wide. They're going to all close in right there coming off the corner. Just not enough room for all 3 noses. And around goes the 27. He's going to be the big loser out of that deal.
Fortunate there. But you know, that's why you do have a fast repair. I still wouldn't want to use it, especially not this early. Personally, I want it to the end, but it is there if you need it. I don't really see a whole lot of damage to his truck, however.
I imagine some of these guys took it like the 88 and the 56, and that's how they were able to get back out there after their incidents. But definitely don't want to use it early if you don't got to. And while we have that trivia still up there on the board, had a lot of answers in there. We got a lot of C's, got some B, got some A. What do you think, Josh? What's your answer for tonight?
I really feel like I should know this one, but I don't. However, Kyle Busch, he was really dominant here. I'm going to say Kyle Busch, but I can see it being any of these 3.
Well, I hate to tell you, but it is actually Carl Edwards in that number 99 car here in 2008. It was actually a 427-mile race. It was extended that year. Carl in that 99, he won 9 races in 2008, and this was the second one on his tally of the years. A lot of trucks coming back down pit road. I guess the strategy worked out for Braxton DeWeese as everybody else is going to come down with him and get tires. One truck stayed out here at the moment. It's the 19 of Jeffrey Parker, who was third. So he stays out there again. He might end up being the leader. And right now, Braxton DeWeese leading them off of pit road. Johnny Rapp going to be in second. Ian Blanchard third. Definitely the caution that Braxton DeWeese needed. He was about to get almost kind of bum rushed by all those fresher tires there on the 52, the 39, the 87, and got that caution right before that was able to take place, and he's going to maintain that track position that he fought so hard for.
Yeah, I think he got bailed out a little bit as Johnny Rapp was there, and I think now, you know, the drivers have pit, and we have one driver that did stay out, Jeffrey Parker. I think, you know, what we saw might not work out for Parker so much in the sense that he doesn't have a bunch of cars behind him that stayed out. As, you know, Braxton DeWeese, Johnny Rapp, they're right there on 4 fresh tires. So I think it worked out for one. I'm not so sure it might work for another, but I've been proved wrong a lot of times, and I could be proved wrong again here.
Yeah, this is definitely going to make this quite an interesting restart. 19, he was running up in that top 10 when the caution originally came out, but he was also one of those that pitted last time around and had those new tires at his advantage. And now he's going to be on the opposite end of the spectrum. He's going to be the one on the 10-lap older tires, and 10 laps is quite a decent amount here at Las Vegas, so he's not going to be the fastest, but some guys definitely did make out pretty good in that last go around. He just doesn't have half the field behind him like these guys did last time.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Parker can hang on to his truck, those tires. We're getting...
We got some problems here under caution. Sorry, Josh, but some contact between the 51 and the 58 there. Looked like just some confusion towards the back of the pack. People lining up where it's not uncommon here on iRacing. Oh, we got a truck stopped and spun down there on the apron.
Was that Bechdel?
I don't think it was him that was spun, but he might have been involved. But we got a lot of trucks with some damage. It was Bechdel, your champion. Your championship leader. So we had the 22 stopped, and the 8 had all wrecked under caution. And then coming back around, the 51 and the 58 made contact, sent the 51 around, and 58's got some right front damage from that. And a whole lot happening under caution here at Las Vegas. Definitely was not on the playing cards tonight. But things happen under caution here on iRacing, no matter how good or inexperienced some of the drivers are. But it definitely happened there. And Randy Bechdel, your big loser, they're going to be able to come down, maybe take a fast repair and get back out there and restart with the pack, hopefully. But the caution extended by 1 lap. They're going to all need to take advantage of that, get some of that damage fixed. We got a lot of trucks with some damage out of that deal.
Indeed, we did, and that actually had the lights on the pace car come back on. They have since turned off, so we will be going green this time around unless something else happens, but I don't see that happening. Drivers, though, that could be frustrated under the circumstances of what just happened, but we will be going back green with 45 laps to go here at Las Vegas.
Old tires up front.
Yep, new tires up front, cold tires up front. That pace car is in. Inside the restart zone. Green flags waving. We're back underway at Vegas.
Parker getting a good restart as well, just like all the other leaders tonight. But Johnny Rapp and Braxton DeWeese are awfully close to that back bumper going down into turn 1. I don't think it might work out for Johnny at the moment. He's going to need to get to that top where Braxton is. He's going to make his way to the bottom coming off the corner, as here comes Justin Michael almost 3 wide underneath him. But Johnny Rapp getting the run down into turn 3 and taking the lead for the first time tonight. And Braxton DeWeese almost gets into that back bumper of the 19 as the 87 follows Rapp through. Braxton DeWeese following them through as well. And the 19 is going to be a little bit of the roadblock here as Braxton DeWeese and him get really close coming through the corner. It's loose again, sideways from Johnny Rapp. That's going to cost him coming down the straightaway. We are 3 wide for the lead. Michael takes the lead back. DeWeese going to follow him through, and we're right back to where we were about 30 laps ago. These two up front battling it out for lead. But just like before, Josh, I don't imagine Braxton's going to waste much time.
I can't imagine that he is, as he's already taking a peek to the inside. They're going to be side by side here through 1 and 2. And DeWeese just has his nose ahead down the back straightaway.
Ian Blanchard getting the job done on Johnny Rapp for 3rd. They're going to try to draft themselves back up to these leaders running side by side. DeWeese to the bottom.
Big crash in the back.
Through the corner. Big crash in the back just like that. I believe that's the 75 there. And that's another truck up there in the wall. I believe that might be Chris Trammell in the 9.
Trevor Brownlee, I believe that was in the 75.
Yeah, it's got some contact here going into 3. The 47 on the bottom. Kind of looks like that Johnny Rapp incident we saw a couple laps ago, him with Justin Wilson. Except this time the 47 does not get away from it as clean as the 52 did. And they end up in a hunky pile of junk on the outside of that turn 3 wall right there. Because we got another replay for you guys. Very similar to that last one, right, Josh?
Similar, yes. I wonder, though, if Brownlee thought he might have been clear entering the corner. I don't know. It's
nowhere for that 47 to go, I'd say. He's got his nose there. He's to the inside, and not much he could have done. And 75, sometimes you got to act like somebody is down there when they are. Some more pit strategy up front. Braxton DeWeese and a couple more trucks all coming down pit road, getting some service, getting some fresh tires. Good amount down on pit road, a good amount also staying out. Maybe this is the strategy that Braxton needed, getting a little bit of an advantage now. If it goes green now by some miracle, then he would be the one with the high hand with some fresher tires later in this race. But right now, your leaders, Justin Michael up front, Johnny Rapp in the 52 in 2nd. And stick around, guys. We're going to be giving away that Jimmy Johnson diecast here in a little bit. You guys keep going in the chat. I see some of you in here. Matt Ritchie. I see Slingshot Racing. I believe that might be Ellis tuning in tonight. Be funny if we gave him the giveaway. Boom Boom 56. A couple of these other guys in here all appreciate the support week in and week out. A lot of the same guys that we usually see in the chat box. Keep chatting and put yourself in position to possibly come home with that diecast.
This has been a great race for these fans to watch, and these drivers, I'll tell you, I'm glad to be in the broadcast booth because it would be stressful out there with the pack racing like this, but it looks fun.
It looks fun, but it looks like a bloodbath as well. These
yeah.
guys have really been going at it from the start. We saw it with Johnny Rapp and that 58 there early on in the race going at it. We've seen it with the two leaders, Justin Michael, Braxton DeWeese going back and forth. And to be honest, we said it earlier tonight. I said it myself. I didn't see much pit strategy. We've seen everything but. We've seen guys coming in being aggressive with the pit stop calls and being aggressive with staying out. And like even that 19 staying out yet again, restarting third, going to put himself in good position. Like we've seen the pit strategies go both ways though. We've seen them work out and we've seen them really shoot themselves in the foot. Shout out that 56 also as well, restarting in the 4th spot. Has had a rough night, had some damage, had a run-in with the 61 earlier. And he's put himself back up here in the top 5 position. And keep that nose clean. He was looking like he had some speed earlier in the night. Might be able to challenge that 87 and 52 up front.
It's going to be really interesting to see if he can do it. I do believe he is on 2 tires after the caution prior to this one, where these guys up front pit. He had a much quicker time in his box. But the pace car is in as we're coming up to that restart zone, and the green flag, it's waving. We're back under green in Vegas.
Tell you what, that 87 has been getting the best restarts out front all night. This was a 1 to go. These guys wouldn't even have time to catch him as Johnny Rapp having to deal with that 19 truck going down into turns 1 and 2. Old tires on that 19, not looking too old right now to the 52 down the straightaway as these guys are in a battle for second. Running 4th right behind them is Jacob Phillips, and it's starting to spread out through the pack. We got some trucks on new tires starting to make a move though, 3 wide towards the back end.
Well, I'm really watching with those newer tires. This Braxton Weiss, he's been up front all race long, and he's got a lot of cars to get through, or trucks rather. But oh my goodness, who's that getting loose? I think that's 14.
And the 14 right there and the 36. They have both had interesting nights so far. Another crash down the straightaway. Caution is back out. This one towards the back end of the pack. Looks like the 22. He was one of those trucks that was wrecked under yellow. Probably still out there dealing with that damage. This was a 3-4 truck incident coming off the corner there. Looks like the 22 gets loose, hooks the 85, collects the 13, collects Justin Wilson yet again. It's the 3rd time we've seen that 58 truck wreck. Not the night he was hoping for after that running so well in the first half of this race. Here's another replay for you guys. Looks like that 22, maybe some contact with Wilson. But big sideways out of him down into the 85 and back up the track they go. And that's going to bring out the yellow yet again. Lots of yellows tonight so far. But maybe the yellow Johnny Rapp wanted to see.
Yeah, this is going to be our 5th caution tonight, and we had a great long run at the start of the race, and then it's kind of been cautions breeding cautions. As this race continues to wind down, it's going to get more and more aggressive. Currently sitting at 37 laps to go as things stand, coming at 36 at the line here. These drivers, they're going to need to really get every position they possibly can. You got to think we might not have another yellow, but at the same time, you still have to be very careful. Drivers are coming down pit road, however. A lot of guys up front staying out.
Yeah, a lot of guys up front, a lot of guys towards the back of the pack coming in for those new tires. And if you're already back there, why not? Might as well come down, grab what little advantage you can on the guys up front. in case it does go green to the end. But you're right, Josh, that aggression is just going to ramp up further and further as we go later and later in this race. And they have certainly been aggressive. They've been aggressive for the lead. They've been aggressive on pit road. And heck, they've been even aggressive under yellow. We had some trucks get taken out under yellow a couple of cautions ago. So the aggression level has definitely gone up. And sometimes that happens after that long green flag start. A lot of the guys, they get that in the back of their minds thinking that it's going to go green yet again, and that just heightens that tension for the restarts and makes these guys really want to go balls to the wall when that green drops. And we kind of said it with Braxton Deweese, that's a perfect example of it happening. When we got that first restart going, he didn't waste any time getting around that 87 that maybe that first half of the race he didn't do, and he definitely had put some moves on him up front. And now the move he's going to be putting on these guys is coming down, getting those tires that he had just taken. He's still pretty far back there, though. He's going to be restarting all the way back in 13th spot. Still quite a ways away from these guys up front.
His tires already have a restart on them as well, with some hard laps. Now he does still have a little bit of an advantage, but if we continue to get more and more yellows and these drivers continue to stay out, I think it's going to start equaling out for these tires no matter what.
It's a great point with the cycles. You're right, because as the cautions come out and we have more heat cycles on these tires, it definitely does even out. And that's not what Braxton needed to see. He needed it to go green for about 10 laps, so he's able to gain those spots and move himself back up to the front. A couple quick cautions here, he might not have that advantage he was hoping for when he made the pit stop.
Yeah, I think at that point, we're going to start seeing Justin Michael, Johnny Rapp, Jeffrey Parker, those guys, come down pit road to get new tires if we do get a couple more cautions. But right now, it's getting time to where the pace car is going to come down pit road as they are still working their way through turn number 4. But this race, there may seem like there's over 30 laps to go, but it's not going to take long if we do stay green and click them off. Pace car is in, and inside the restart zone, we are back underway at Vegas.
Another great restart out of Justin Michael, though. Johnny Rapp sticking with him a little closer this time around. He was able to cut down in front of that 19. They are not going to be side by side into the corner. That's what that 52 wants. Is behind them, it's going to be Curtis Grant in the 30 getting passed by Jacob Phillips in that 56. And here comes the 19, though, to the bottom of Johnny Rapp for second spot. 19 on older tires himself compared to the 52. Really showing some aggression here, getting underneath him for second and maybe trying to challenge that 87 up front.
I am really... Oh, we got one sliding in the back. There's a wreck. We are under caution.
That is going to be another 2-car wreck coming down into turn 1 and 2 that time. Don't believe it was Braxton. Yeah, I got Ian Blanchard in the 39 as one of them. Scott Drost was involved going down into turn 1 there. So it started with some contact on the straightaway, and then Braxton Deweese goes to the bottom 3 wide, and the top 2 trucks make contact trying to adjust their lines. You're going to see it here on the replay. So coming down into turn 1 here, the 2 and the 39 are side by side. Here comes Braxton to the bottom. The 2 moves up just a little bit, gets in the back of the 39 into the corner, and the 61 slides in there for good measure. And that was it. That was a wreck right there. So could have been a lot worse for both of these guys, but they're going to have some damage to get fixed if they haven't already used that fast repair. You see just the slightest amount of contact, too, between the 2 on your screens. Probably the most incidental caution of the night so far. Everything else has looked pretty much heavier than that.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that a little bit of contact like that did lead to this accident, especially in the way that it did. Oh, wow. Driver's faking out. Little almost contact there between Rapp and Parker.
Faking out a little too hard, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like the 19 and the 52 were kind of making their way down onto pit road, and that 12 moved out pretty late there. I'm sorry, the 19 moved out pretty late right there, and definitely almost made some contact with some of the trucks towards the rear of the field, coming down, getting some free tires. We explained this earlier, Josh. Might as well come down and take them if you're in the back. Do what some of these other guys are not doing, just in case it does go green a long ways. But like we were talking about before, these cautions are starting to get pretty frequent, and just the caution breeds cautions moniker continuing yet again tonight.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's unfortunate these drivers can't get a run going on right now, because, you know, if you're Michael, if you're Parker, you know, these guys they want to click the laps down, and it's hard to do that. These guys in the back, I mean, well, I can't blame the guys in the back. It's everywhere. These guys are driving crazy and driving aggressive, you know, but I don't blame them. This way that this track is with this package of the trucks, you know, we've talked about it being more like a plate style race, a super speedway that we see at Daytona. You know, and as the run goes on, the difference is you run 30 laps under green at Daytona, you're still going to be able to make crazy moves to get to the front. You do that here, and you're not going to be able to, because you drive in a little bit too hard, you're going to end up in the wall. So I don't blame these guys. You know, you take every run you can get, but it does make it a little frustrating for some of these drivers that want to get a rhythm going, but just can't.
Yeah, with the field being so close together, and these guys 3, sometimes even 4 wide, this type of stuff is bound to happen at this type of racetrack, especially when it closes up like it does off of turn 2 and off of turn 4. It's very easy to make contact here, and we just have seen contact, you know, pretty frequent tonight, and most of the time it has managed to work itself out, but some of those times it just ends up in a little bit of an incident and needing a yellow flag. And a little bit of a change up front here, Josh, with Jeffrey Parker restarting on that front row for the first time. Johnny Rapp going to be stuck behind him as we get through this restart zone. The 87 going and restarting up at the top as the leader, going to have the 56 behind him. I think this might cause a little bit of a opportunity maybe for Jacob Phillips.
Yeah, it's one thing I noticed right away was Michael taking the top. I want to know how it's going to work out for him and the rest of the field. We're going to find out right now as they are inside the restart zone. Green flag's back out, and Michael wasted no time. What a jump by him.
Yeah, not the best restart there out of the 19. Johnny Rapp giving him a big push going down into turn 1 to try to clear that 56. And that's the opportunity the 56 was looking for, maybe, to get to the outside of the 52 and get that third spot away from the 52, who's shown a lot of speed tonight. Has put himself up front a couple times, but just seems to not have the luck right here on the restart. But a big move right there into turn 3. He just went to the bottom and it stuck. See Braxton again making 3 wide. Yep, that again. It's between the Johnny Bobby Brown and that 88. Right next to him, Adrian De Leon in the 12, and Braxton DeWeese making his move up through the pack, going to the inside of Curtis Grant. 3 wide towards the back here. These guys are all over each other.
They're really tight down on each other's doors too. A little bit of contact, but nothing too major. However, we got a battle for the race lead. Parker underneath Michael, and Johnny Rapp also right there.
Parker. Johnny Rapp, yeah, was giving that 19 a big push down the straightaway, and he got a big run on the 87 out front. Goes to the inside. Johnny Rapp going to try to take a different line here and maybe take advantage of this and work himself up to the front, as they are side by side down the front straightaway. Parker to the inside, Michael to the outside.
Does Johnny Rapp have an influence on this? Maybe, but Michael gets ahead of Parker. Real tight between Parker and Rapp.
There, Johnny trying to stick his nose to that right rear, slow him down off the corner. He's going to get the job done for the most part going down into turn 3. But that 19 is going to drive it in deep on the bottom and get to that left rear. Really tight coming off of turn 4. Almost contact between the two. And that 19, he's not going down without a fight.
25 laps to go for these drivers. They know it. They are going to be even more aggressive as this race continues to wind down, and you see that even just the battle for second place between Parker and Rapp, it is so tight, so close, and Trammell actually going to be allowed to come up to join this battle. And will Trammell be able to do something if Rapp and Parker continue to stay side by side? Can he make a hero 3-wide move? Michael, though, he's out front. He likes what he sees behind him as he's gapping ever so slightly over these two trucks side by side for second.
And Johnny Rapp knows if he wants a shot at the 87, he had to get that pass done, but he just doesn't now at the moment. Might be best for him to maybe push that 19 to the 87 again, let him try to make the move himself. Here comes that 52 to the top side, gets to that right rear corner. You see how close it is coming off of turn 4. Big run down the straightaway for Johnny Rapp. He might get the job done going down into turn 1, but that 19 super strong on the entry. And caution is out yet again. Got a crash going into turns 1 and 2. It's Curtis Grant in the 30. And checking it out here on the replay. See the 75, Chevron Brownlee to the top. And just one of those instances where three cars are kind of squeezing themselves down into 2. A couple more trucks involved on the inside. Jacob Sampson. And the 74 driving into it. That 30 truck, he took a pretty hard hit to that outside wall.
Yeah, he did. That's not going to be very good for his truck. He still has that fast repair. He might use it. Oh my goodness, look at all this. A lot of drivers just stacking up right there with Brownlee going down the racetrack like that.
Okay, while we got a quick caution, we're going to do the giveaway tonight. The winner tonight's going to be Van's 21K. You are the big giveaway winner tonight. Thank you for tuning in and chatting in the box. There's going to be an email there on the screen. We'll leave it up for the duration of the yellow. So you can send them an email and redeem your prize. Congratulations on being the winner tonight. Van's 21K. Yeah, that was just another one of those typical Vegas incidents that we had in our stories tonight. 3-4 wide, just collecting themselves up and getting close to each other. As check this out, Josh, all the leaders coming down on pit road. Not too surprising to see, but does anybody take the gamble and possibly stay out?
Few drivers. I see 3, but yeah, no, I was wondering if they were going to pit here. I very much expected drivers to come down pit road. I didn't expect to see everybody, but we got almost everybody. It is 3 drivers that did end up staying out here. So 21 laps to go. Anybody take 2, or is it going to be 4 tires? I believe it's 4 tires all around.
Yeah, 4 tires all around for these leaders coming off pit road. Justin Michael, Johnny Rapp, and check out Braxton DeWeese getting that 3rd spot off pit road. 19 of Jeffrey Parker had a little bit of a slow stop. It's going to cost him 2 spots there to both Rapp and DeWeese. But now that 15 is right back in the game with the 87 and 52. The 3 best trucks tonight have been those 3 from the green flag, and those 3 are going to be battling it out, but they're going to have some players up front to deal with. That's 68. Joshua Van Emery has stayed out. Jay Sala in that 85 has also stayed out for the moment. Donald Hawkins in the 14, running in P3. We'll see if any of these guys come down and make their pit stops here. But at the moment, doesn't appear so. So Justin Michael going to have to restart from 4th spot with those fresh tires, and everybody else right there behind him.
I'm going to restart in the 2nd row with 4 fresh tires. I want that P4 spot, the outside. So for Michael, I think as long as he executes this restart well and there's no issues out of Zola on the timing either, I think Michael's going to be in the best position here with those 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, but no issues is a big thing to ask for sometimes in these positions with these 3 drivers not been up front at all tonight. They have not restarted in the top 10, never mind on the front row. So asking for a good restart sometimes out of these drivers who don't have these experiences up front can be difficult. So it's definitely going to play a factor if he's able to get that start or not that the 87 needs. But whichever line gets the best start, though, that might be your winner tonight. But Braxton and that 87 stuck on the top, and Johnny Rapp right there in the 19 on the bottom.
So the field is coming through into turn 3. We are going to have 19 laps to go when we go back green here, and everybody except the top 3 is on fresh tires. We know that. The biggest thing is, and I said it earlier, I'm going to say it now, 19 to go, the pressure is on. Cold tires are cold. Watch turn number 4 on this first lap here under green, as they are inside the restart zone. That green flag's waving. We're green at Vegas.
And there goes that bad restart there out of the 87. That's going to hold up both Justin Michael and Johnny Rapp as the 19 gets into the 52 into the corner. Braxton DeWeese is going to get collected, and this is going to be a big one. Johnny Rapp spinning back up into the field, and that is a showstopper of a crash, and we definitely saw it ruin there on that restart with the old tires up front. Definitely a poor restart there out of that top line. That allowed Jeffrey Parker to make an aggressive move to the bottom underneath Johnny Rapp, and 52 is going to be the big victim of that whole deal. From the first car on fresh tires to wrecked in about a quarter of a second. The 19's there. There's not much the 19 can really do other than go below the apron. So definitely a restart crash right there for the ages. And that 52, he's going to be playing that one back over in his mind for about a week or so. It's going to take a while to get over that one because he was in a great position there going down into turn 1.
Yeah, I've been there, and those ones sting, especially coming to close to the end of a race where you think you have a chance to win or even just get a great finish. That it stinks, and these drivers, drive under caution a few more laps and try to settle into rhythm.
Another victim in that whole deal as well was the 15 of Braxton DeWeese. He's going to have to come down pit road, get some damage fixed, maybe even take that fast repair, but that's going to cost him all his track position here with 17 laps to go. The 87 got a little nick in that as well. So your 3 fastest trucks almost all taken out in one fell swoop right there. The 87 seems to be the one in the best position, but right now Jeffrey Parker restarting 3rd. He's going to be the one guy on the first guy on fresher tires. Behind him is the 87 who's also on freshies. And then it's that 85 who didn't get a good restart last time around. He's going to be restarting on the bottom in 5th.
I still like Justin Michael's position here in P4. Yes, I realize Parker has the 4 fresh tires as well. But I don't know. Something tells me that outside in 4th place is going to be the best position here.
And now he's got a new guy to push in front of him with the 14. So we saw it with the last restart with the 85 being in front of him, not knowing how good of a restart he was going to get. Well, now it's going to be the same deal again, but with the 14 truck. So the 14's on older tires, and that first restart was a little swirly for all 3 of them up front. So we'll see how much ground the 87 loses, or if he's the one that gains here with the 68 still starting on the pole.
The lights on the pace car are going to go out. We are going to go double file here. And, I mean, it's going to be 15 laps to go when we go back green, Sean. I think,
anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. This race, it has been very chaotic, and I don't think they're done yet. I think these drivers, they're going to continue to take every little run they have.
And can the 87 survive? He's had one of the best trucks all night. He's practically the last one up there that really had some big speed. Can he manage all these other drivers around him, all these other trucks that are threatening him for this win? So that's going to be the big question now as we get back going here, is how he manages to get himself possibly back to the front. And right behind him, he's got old tires behind him, but the trucks behind him on fresh tires, the 9 of Chris Tramble, the 88, Johnny Bobby Brown, the 12, Adrian De Leon. 3 drivers we haven't seen challenged for the win or up front tonight. But it's going to be one heck of a last 15 laps.
Pace car is in. These drivers inside the restart zone once again. Green flag's out. It's 15 to go here at Las Vegas.
But Jeffrey Parker got the restart he needed. The 87 got held up by the 14. Here he goes to the inside of Joshua Van Emery up front. They're going to be side by side down the straightaway. Where does the 87 go? Which line does he follow? Going to give that 68 a push and go down to the bottom himself. Try to get that second position. Right now, your leader, Jeffrey Parker, in that 19.
I was wrong. I said it was that 4th position that was going to be the best one, but Parker getting the lead from the 3rd position. Don't look now, though. Justin Michael is in 2nd, as you mentioned.
Big racing back here in the pack. 85 falling back through. Randy Bechdel on the comeback trail to the top side. Going to put himself up into the top 10. Here comes that 61. Stanton moving himself up into the top 10 tonight. Been a rough race out of that 61 truck, but here towards the end, got himself in great position. It's Justin Michael to the back bumper of Jeffrey Parker into turn 1. Goes to the top just a little bit, maybe to get a run down the straightaway. But Parker wrapping that bottom really good. 68 able to hold 3rd. Chris Tramble in 4th. It's the battle for the lead, though, still red hot.
And they do have a slower truck just ahead. It's going to be a lap truck. He's been running the outside line. I believe that's Brownlee. His leader's going to catch him very quickly as Michael continues to be on the back tailgate of Parker. A little bit higher line here through 1 and 2. He now pass that lap truck.
Jeffrey gets such a good run through the center of the corners, is able to roll just a little more flat out than that 87. 87 seems to be faster maybe off the corners. Jeffrey gets a little loose here. It's going to be an opportunity for Justin to go to the top side. He's going to put his nose there, drag that spoiler back, and we are side by side for the lead into turn 1.
11 laps to go with battle for the race lead between Parker and Michael, as you mentioned. Oh, a little bit of contact in the back. They're wrecking. Big contact into the outside
3
wall.
of your top 5, yeah. More contact with the 6 getting in there late. That's Joshua Van Emery, came across the line in 3rd place last time around. Going to check it out here on the replay. It looks like that 68 starts walking up the track a little bit. Gets a little bit of a tap from Chris Tramble, and him and the 12 start bouncing off each other. The 9 truck gets involved into the inside wall. And man, just more trucks in the top 5, falling victim. Racing hard up front. You see it right here on the replay. 68 just gets a little bit loose. Walks up in front of the 9. Not much for these guys. Not much for them to go. This is on board of the 6 of Austin Gum. He's got the 14 in front of him. And next thing you know, here is a stop truck. Bam! Going down the back straightaway. 88, Bobby Brown, also involved in that wreck. He was another one of the trucks in the top 10. And up front, it's a completely different picture right now. Justin Michael, your leader. Jeffrey Parker in 2nd. 3rd place, Jeffrey Stanton in that 61. It's been all over the back tonight to the front. Here late, Jacob Phillips hanging on strong in that 56 truck in 4th. He had a great run last week in Daytona. And your winner last week in Daytona, Randy Bechdel, running P5. Trying to get himself a good points night tonight, and maybe even a win. Got himself in position to do it right now.
Bechdel, I think, has had a quiet night. After the start, kind of talking about him hanging around the top 5. Really haven't talked about him at all. Actually, I kind of forgot a little bit about him, to be honest with you, but you mentioned sitting in 5th place. He's put himself in a good position where he can have a really strong start to this season.
He's a sleeper pick right now for the end of this race, and he was one of those trucks that was wrecked under caution in that incident we had under yellow earlier, and had to take his fast repair and then work his way back up from there. That was about 30 laps ago at the most. So a really good comeback there out of the 51. Also for the 61 and the 56, all 3 of those guys have run into trouble tonight. Managed it the best way they can, and here they are late in the race, up in the top 5 with a chance for the win.
Just a handful of laps to go, and I think they are going to get the 1 green signal this time by, so we could see 7 laps to go in this race by the time they go green. Michael actually kind of looking like he's signaling he wants to restart on the high side. That's something we saw him do earlier in this race. Worked out pretty well for him then, and yeah, that's the case. He's going to take the high side again here.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for him then. I'm kind of wondered why we haven't seen it more often tonight, but he thinks it's going to work for him right now. He's hoping that 19 doesn't get that good of a restart, and he's possibly wanting to work with that 56 of Jacob Phillips. Jacob Phillips was also running in 4th spot last time he did it, so maybe these guys are teammates and we just don't know. Coming back around for 7 laps to go in this race, he's going to be looking for every advantage he can to get ahead of that 56, the 61, and most certainly the 19.
It's going to be 7 laps to go when we go back green as the field is entering turn 3. Justin Michael, Jeffrey Parker, the front row, with Jeffrey Stanton and Jacob Phillips in row number 2. I think this is still anybody's race. We still have some strategy going on, maybe some gambles happening as well. It's going to be a very interesting 7 laps to the finish as that pace car works its way to pit road once again. And inside the restart zone is Michael. The green flag is out. Very early jump once again. A great jump out of Michael.
Definitely what he needed. He's been doing it all night long. As the 56 of Jacob Phillips running side by side with the 19 through turns 1 and 2. Where does the 61 go? Who does he give the push to? He's going to be giving it to Jacob down the straightaway. He's going to clear Jeffrey Parker for 2nd position. And here comes Jeffrey Stanton to the top of the 19, with Randy Bechdel close behind and following. This time around, 6 laps to go. Does Jacob Phillips have anything for Justin Michael up front?
Very interesting to see if he can.
The truck just not cooperating right there for the 56, getting tight in the wake of the 87. Here comes the 19 back to the bottom, and Randy Bechdel making a move on the 61 as the 56 gets tight yet again. That's going to put the 61 in the wall. That's going to open the door for Bechdel as he door slams the 51 coming down the racetrack. And here comes Mike Springer back into the picture, into the top 5. He was not long ago, he was wrecking the outside wall, and here he is up in the 5th position trying to get around Jacob Phillips. And for the lead, Justin Michael with a mirror full of Jeffrey Parker. Parker really showing some speed right now, getting to the back bumper of the 87 towards the end of the straightaways, but is he able to make a move on him through the center of the corners? As you see, that 19 just wraps the bottom so much better. He's able to get in the gas. He's close to him right now, coming down the back, makes a move to the inside. Not close enough to get his nose in there. Is there contact? Not this time around, as the 87 walks up the track just a little bit. Here he comes, Jeffrey Parker to the inside, side by side down the front stretch into turn 1.
I cannot believe Parker has been able to get this good of a run, and look at Bechdel in third place.
Can he steal one again 2 weeks in a row?
I think he can. I think he's in great position here as these two drivers are side by side. Well, now they're actually single file for the race lead. However, Parker and Bechdel,
both of them
side by side.
Both of them hit the apron going through 3 and 4. It's going to cost them some momentum. You see Justin Michael go to the bottom there. And here comes Johnny Rapp back into the picture. That 52 from the back of the field up into the top 5 yet again. He's going to take that 4th position away from Mike Springer. It's not over for the 52 truck.
A lot of contact with the wall in the back, but everybody keeps it straight, and we are still green as these drivers are coming around turn number 4 to get the white flag. Almost some contact between Parker and Bechdel. The white flag is waving. 1 lap to go.
Johnny Rapp to the outside of the 19, going for the 3rd position into turns 1 and 2. Here comes Randy Bechdel. He's going to get a run off the top down the straight. Where does he go at the end of the straightaway? He's going to go to the bottom. He's going to go to the top. A block from the 87. To the bottom goes Randy Bechdel, going for 2 in a row on Justin Michael. Here comes Johnny Rapp to the top. They're going to be side by side coming down the front, but it's going to be the 87 stealing the show tonight with a dominant performance out of Justin Michael. Johnny Rapp just barely clips Randy Bechdel for 2nd position. And man, they put on one heck of a show there on that last lap.
That was incredible. And how Randy Bechdel wasn't able to win, I don't know. How Rapp was able to steal 2nd, I don't know either. That was a great job by Justin Michael to hold them off, and really a great race overall by Justin Michael, as I think he was the driver that really deserved this win, and he's the driver that got it.
He might be the only one out there that didn't have trouble tonight or get wrecked in one way or another. We saw everybody have a problem out there tonight except that 87 truck, and here he is at the end of it in victory lane, no matter how hard they tried to take it away from him. He had the dominant truck in the first half of the race, drove away from Braxton DeWeese, not something we see often, and was able to maintain that track position throughout the mayhem, throughout the chaos, and he came home. The big Vegas gambling wins tonight.
He is burning them down. Great win for Justin Michael, and I think Sean, best tasting donuts are in Las Vegas tonight.
You know, we said with the Krispy Kreme was down the street from Daytona. I imagine there's a Krispy Kreme in Vegas somewhere. It's probably in the middle of a casino or something, but next to 2 clubs that are open all night. So I imagine he'll find some either way here in Las Vegas. Hell, that Nellis Air Force Base, they might even have one there. They got a Dunkin' at least.
He blew the motor celebrating, but I think it's time we take a look at our unofficial race results there at the end. And of course, it is Justin Michael with the race win, followed by Johnny Rapp in 2nd, Randy Bechdel getting 3rd, Jeffrey Parker coming home in 4th, Jeffrey Stanton in 5th, Donald Hawkins in 6th, Jay Zala in 7th, Matthew Tudus in 8th, Jacob Phillips 9th, and Mike Springer finishes in 10th.
Chris Trammell in the 9 truck's going to come home 11th. Joshua Van Every comes back to finish 12th. Ian Blanchard in 13th. Adrian DeLeon in 14th. Steve Vest 15th. Lee Richardson 16th. Braxton DeWeese hangs on to finish 17th. Scott Drost 18th. Austin Gum 19th. And Justin M. Wilson, with a tough race tonight, comes home in 20th.
21st was Johnny Bobby Brown. Daryl Griffin finishes 22nd. Curtis Grant 23rd. Jesse Sampson 24th. Adil Dar in 25th. Shane Merkham in 26th. Trevor Brownlee in 27th. Joseph Villarreal in 28th. And Jeremy Keltner finishes in 29th. And I believe we are going to go ahead and talk to our top 3 finishers here tonight. We're going to start with Randy Bechdel, our 3rd place finisher.
I was second.
We'll try to get Randy in here. Yeah, I can't hide the channels. It's kind of tough for me to get Randy in here. Hold on, I'm trying. I just add you all in here, maybe. Randy, you got a copy, buddy?
I'm sorry.
You got a
Gotcha.
copy here for your interview? Congratulations on your third place run tonight. An up and down race out of the 51 truck. Can you run us through the chaos that was out there tonight?
There's definitely a little chaos there. I also put myself behind the 8 ball. I didn't realize I was speeding the one pit stop, and I went back like 25th. So that was a little bit chaotic trying to get back through the field with dodging everything. Ended up getting a little damage to one of the checkups during one of the cautions, but somehow made it back up there. And top 3, can't complain.
Top 3 for sure. Did you feel like you could have done anything different there on that final lap to maybe get ahead of the 52 and the 50 and and the 87? You get a great move there on the final lap going into turn 3, but man, it was just a little too short coming to the start finish line.
Yeah, I tried to juke the 87 a little bit, but he was definitely the class of the field the whole night. Really, couldn't take a big help from somebody behind me, give a bump or whatever to get by him. But yeah, I mean, maybe if I got it in the outside of him going into 3, but he had the correct line there. So
Well, first place last week, third place this week. Got yourself in a pretty good spot for the championship. Is there anybody you want to give some love or shout outs to celebrate your podium finish tonight?
no, I want to thank my teammate I raced with, Justin. He had a Wilson, that is. He had a rough night there. I think he ended with like 4 minutes of damage at the end, but other than that, thanks you guys for broadcasting. Probably go back and watch it after this, and everyone that puts on the league, and all the sponsors for league if there is any. If I missed any.
Well, congratulations, Randy Bechdel, third place tonight. I'm going to send it back over to Josh. He's going to be with Johnny Rapp, your second place finisher.
Yeah, Johnny, it was a really good night for you overall. You were up front almost all race, was involved in an accident there towards the end, able to come back up to second. First of all, how in the world did you do that?
Yeah, I have no idea. Fresh tires on the last pit stop. I took my fast repair, and yeah, I don't know. The seats just kind of parted for me. I had to work for it a little bit there at the end. But man, one spot short, man. I'll tell you, I did not have that on my bingo card. If you would have asked me under the last caution.
That was an incredible drive from you there at the end to get up to the front. This race, it had lots and lots of yellows throughout the race. But I do want to ask about the crash with the 58. What happened?
Yeah, which one?
Run us through the whole cycle.
Yeah, I don't know. The first one, I got to go look at the replay. I could be wrong. I was on the damn apron before he cut my nose off and spun himself out. That's what it felt like to me. The second one, he just hooked me on the straightaway. So, I mean, I don't know about that one. It's supposed to be my teammate, it's supposed, we're friends and all that. But yeah, that's a great way to race your buddy. But anyway, I ended up doing okay with it. I saved my fast power. Glad I did because man, like, golly, But yeah, I got to take it near the end there, and hey, I came home second place. Where was he? I don't know.
We do not know.
Sponsors, shout out. Who gets it done for you?
Yeah. Well, you guys up here in the Slingshot TV booth, everybody that puts on the Smash Racing League here, Smash HQ. I'm still not too familiar with it, but it has been a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last week, and yeah, I mean, there were some cautions here tonight, but I mean, still was pretty good racing. There was different grooves and everything, and most people would give you room, and definitely had a lot of fun racing here tonight. So shout out to everybody watching at home, and yeah, everybody helps put the thing on. We'll see you next week.
All right, congrats on the runner-up finish tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Roger that.
And Sean, I believe you are in victory lane with probably a very happy Justin Michael.
Justin Michael, 87, man, big winner tonight. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to Victory Lane. We felt like after that first run, you had the best truck out there, pulling away from some of those fast trucks behind you up front. How were you able to manage and survive all that chaos in between then and here we are now?
Well, it was difficult for sure. I got stuck back there in some bad air at one point, but just clean air is the key here, and saving tires. You know, you can really only save them when you're out front. So I think we did a good job on that first long run. I was hoping for green flag the whole way. I think we were gonna just keep pulling away, especially the older the tires got. I know a couple times there was a couple tenths faster a lap than the top five. So I think we could have just kept stretching it out as we went.
Well, with all the chaos that was out there tonight, you had so many different players on your back bumper challenge you for this top spot and challenge you to try to take the win away. Who did you feel like was your biggest competition at any point throughout the runs tonight?
There's a couple of them. Johnny was really tough there. I did not expect him to push me there going across the start finish line. So shout out to him for that. And sorry, I don't know names yet. This is my first race here. Deweese was really good. I know he got caught up in something. So, but had he stayed up there, I think he would have been a big threat. And Blanchard as well. I think I've raced Blanchard before, if I'm saying his name right. So, but a lot of good guys in here, and there's a lot of good competition. So it'll be a fun series.
Definitely look forward to seeing you in the future races week by week and how you're able to claw yourself up into championship contention. Is there any love or shout outs you'd like to give for your big win tonight?
Yeah, it's first time on this channel, so we're gonna go back and watch that. And you guys, I think I just checked it out. A couple races y'all did, and y'all called a good race. And Scott Patton out there for Patent Paints for painting the truck. He always does a good job. And all the guys from Bandit Motorsports and all the guys put on the league over here. So we'll see you next week.
Definitely have to catch you next week. That was Justin Michael, 87 car, the big winner tonight after a tumultuous race here in Las Vegas. Wouldn't you say so, Josh?
Oh yeah, that was a crazy race. We started out really good with that long green flag run, and these drivers they were throwing haymakers. It was incredible what they were able to do in that opening run and keeping it clean. It was a lot of fun, and then the rest of the race, just the chaotic restarts with again drivers just throwing haymakers at each other, trying to get everything they possibly could. This race was truly incredible to watch, a lot of fun overall, and I think Las Vegas was a great, way to have the season continue on after a race like Daytona.
Yeah, I say it every week, but this race had a little bit of everything tonight. And the one truck that wasn't involved in any sort of incident tonight, that 87, was the one that got away. And he still had a close call a couple times. So definitely looking forward to next week's race and who can come out on top of that.
And let's not forget, next week it is Bristol Motor Speedway. It's going to be our first taste of short track racing with these guys, and I think that one's going to be 225 laps as well. So it'll be plenty of racing all around at short track that tempers easily can flare at, and it's going to be a wild one there, that's for sure.
And they were already flaring tonight, so those fires are only going to get hotter come next week.
Most definitely, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Bristol's going to go when we do get there.
And with that, I think that's going to end it for tonight. We'll have to check everybody out next week at Bristol. Thank you, everybody, chatting along from the start to the finish, and we'll catch you then next week at Bristol.